Hi, I'm Steve.
I'm Shanika, and we're the Empty Nesters.
We're the real life braided bunch. We went from this,
To this,
and now we're here to share our experiences with you. Click the link in our bio to check out our YouTube page for relationship and parenting tips.
see you soon.
It's your boy Steve, man. What's up? All right, so, Nika, you want to go and dive into this here now, cause you had a pretty hard standing on being unhappily married. Again, I say it's a broad statement. What do you take when you
Well,
hear
you said
somebody
a broad
say?
statement. How could that be a broad statement by
Well,
being unhappy in a marriage, unhappily married?
I say it's broad because now how do you define unhappy and happy? See, everybody's measure of happiness is different. It's one thing for me to be unhappy with you. It's another thing for me to be unhappy in general.
I mean, okay, so you can be upset. Like sometimes you be upset because we get
Okay.
upset.
So is unhappy the wrong word to use?
So I would say unhappy would be the wrong word. Because if I'm unhappy, that means there's nothing going right in the marriage. Like you're not giving me no attention.
Okay.
You're not supporting me. Um, you know, my my goals.
Okay.
We got to be on the same page, and if we're not on the same page, yeah, I don't want to be unhappy in a marriage.
Okay. Okay. I can rock with that. So disappointed but not unhappy. Because I had another young person ask me the questions like, how do you when you're in a situation and difficulty coming to the relationship, how do you know that you're in something that's worth holding on to? I did have a young person ask me that question. So that kind of goes to this, like if I'm unhappy in that moment, how do I know that I should either stay in this or leave? Because most, and again, this came about because most young people today are just, and I'm hearing this a lot, that they're getting married to get divorced. And couples are getting married to get divorced now. Like it's just like no one's staying together anymore in this generation. No one's toughing it out. But what are you being expected to tough out? I see. I think you got to dig deeper into.
That's all the hard times. You got to be in it to win it together.
Okay, so it's the difference between being unhappy and being upset. Is what you said. Did I hear you say that?
I can be upset at you ain't pick up your clothes off the floor or something like that. You always doing it. No, I'm just saying.
That's not no deal breaker.
I'm just saying it's not a deal breaker, but I'm just saying as an example. Okay, so you making me upset about that.
No, but she used the words unhappy.
But she said, unhappy. So
that, I think that's gonna be a more egregious offense.
But she never did go into why she felt unhappy either. She just
said she was unhappy in a marriage, but she gonna stick with it.
I'm gonna stay in my marriage, but I'm gonna just be unhappy. Huh?
Well, she say she knows she'll get happy again. That's what I'm saying. I feel like she was probably just using the wrong word.
That's why
she was probably
upset about something or disappointed about something, but not actually unhappy. Because why would you just stay in a marriage if you're unhappy?
Okay, so here's
why are you unhappy?
Okay, so in my opinion, here's what's dangerous about that message, though. Because I get it. I can see it from that perspective of, she's upset.
Because if you unhappy in your marriage, that means you're gonna be going outside of your marriage to be happy. Well, you can look at it that way too.
I don't agree with that. Well, I don't agree with that because if you're unhappy to the point where you want to go outside, well, then your ass need to leave. I'm sorry. I don't agree with excusing behavior based on what someone else is doing. So, which leads me to my point. If you're unhappy with yourself, in my opinion. Because if I'm happy with me, I'm not going to let you take away my happiness.
True.
Now, your actions may upset me, like you said. I agree with that. But there's no way I'm going to allow myself to be in a relationship that takes me to a place of unhappiness.
A lot of people don't have, that.
But the reason why, the reason why that type of message to me is so dangerous, right? This message is simply saying, learn how to be unhappily married. Well, you may be in a situation that's abusive. You may be in a situation that's toxic and you're unhappy, but you got somebody telling you, learn how to be unhappily married. I just don't think that's good advice. Now,
I was unhappy in my first marriage.
okay,
I'm not married to that person anymore because I was unhappy.
okay, but you were unhappy.
I was unhappy.
See, because now what if everything about our situation makes me happy except for what you may have just done, even to the point of infidelity, because we're talking about deal breaking stuff, right? But your action aside, everything else lines up. You're a gentleman. You're the perfect lady. We always we connect. We complement each other well. For everything that matters, you're a great supporter. Everything that matters, everything's important.
Right.
You're great. I'm happy with
Right.
you.
Right.
But then now you do something in this moment that makes me unhappy. Now I can evaluate whether or not, even if it's something that makes me genuinely unhappy in this moment, like something just that could be a deal breaker. But now at least I've got something to evaluate. Whereas if we in a terrible, because some of y'all rationalize holding on, and you've been holding on from one upset to the next upset to the next upset. I'm sorry. I'm not going.
People stay in their marriages for different reasons. A lot of them stay in their marriages, for the kids. You're gonna be unhappy in your marriage because of the kids.
No, okay. So, and again, that's what this platform is all about.
Right.
If I'm in a toxic relationship, raising children, what am I teaching the children?
Exactly. I know exactly what you're saying.
And so my whole point to this topic is just be careful what advice you give.
Yeah.
Right? You're telling people to
just
learn how to be happy or be unhappy in a marriage.
That's not good advice at all.
I don't think so either.
That's not good advice at all.
But maybe I'm taking her meaning out of context.
Because she didn't elaborate at all.
Exactly. So that's why I'm trying to dig a little deeper into it to say that the difference, if she means, just unhappy in a moment, not necessarily a full toxic, unhappy situation,
exactly.
I could rock with that. But if we're talking about, my mama taught me to hold on to my man no matter what. I'm sorry, mama. Your mama taught you wrong.
Yeah.
Because your man going to keep doing what he doing. And you going to keep feeling how you feeling. Vice versa, because it's not always the man. It go both ways. There are some women out here,
Yeah.
But
you got to look in the mirror at yourself and be like, is it worth it?
Okay, so here I'm just how I look at it. I've always looked at it. If it ever get to a point where, and I know that I've felt like this in relationships before. When you get to that place where you don't want to go home,
it's time to move on.
It's time to reevaluate what you're doing.
If you don't want to go home, it's time to move on.
Because see, I can be upset with you and still come home. I still want to be at home. I still want to be in my life. I still want to do. We're going to
talk about it.
And I'm going to give you the time you need.
Yeah.
To talk about. I'm not going to force you. We're not going to, because conflict resolution is a very, very big part of relationships. You have to be able to resolve conflict.
It's not healthy to even talk if you're upset. Wait till you cool
give y'all
down.
The time you need.
And then talk about it.
Yeah. So.
Because when you're yelling at each other, no one is listening.
Communication.
Yeah.
Open, honest communication. Designed to lead us to resolution. Okay. All right, man. So look, I'm gonna go ahead and cue up the audio.
Yeah. Okay.
Of what we talking about, so that I can get your opinion of how you feel about this. All right. Let's go.
So I remember this one day I feel like and this guy hit on me, right? So he came up to me. He was like, "Hey, what's up? You married?" I'm gonna try to talk like a DC guy. Well, no, I'm not, because they sound crazy. No offense to all my DC fam, but he said, "Hey, you married?" And I was like, "Yes." And he said, "You happy?" He said it like that, like he was like a drop the mic. He was like, "You happy?" And I was like, "No, and." And the reason why I said no was because, one, I'm brutally honest, and two, I was not happy at the time. But what does me being unhappy have to do with whether or not you have a shot? Here's the thing I realized. A lot of married people don't know how to be unhappily married and still not walk away. If you could learn how to be unhappy for a minute, your marriage will last. Because the goal in marriage is not happiness. The goal is to build a lasting relationship that withstands the ebbs and flows of marriage, of relationships, of people. And so some of y'all need to learn how to be unhappily married and still be content and still stay right where you are. Just because I might not be happy right now does not mean I won't get happy later. Learn how to be unhappily married. So I remember this one day.
So, okay, I'm looking at your face. I'm looking at your face. Talk to me.
I'm still.
You still
I
what?
still stand on what I said.
Okay, so I feel like she just
She's
chose
using the
poor
word
words.
wrong. She's
I feel like
using
she agrees
should
with
say
what we're saying.
upset.
You know, and plus, what did she say? Yeah. I don't like the message, because if you're a person
You don't
that's
tell somebody to learn how to be unhappy
yeah
in a marriage.
because there are those that are already doing that.
Yeah.
There are those that are in situations that they should not be in. And I feel like this kind of advice only leads them towards staying in something
Because she
that they need to
said
be out of.
like I might be unhappy at the moment, but that don't mean I can't get unhappy. Like,
And see, that's why I'm making the point of, maybe when she says she's unhappy, she's not totally unhappy. She's just in that moment unhappy with something about the
something
relationship.
that occurred, right?
Not necessarily in a hole.
Yeah.
Because if you're unhappy in a hole is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
See, I could agree with the advice if the advice is saying to you what I'm saying, and it's just that she's using those words. And she may very well be simply saying, you know, if you're upset in this moment or if you're just disappointed in this moment, but she's saying being unhappy. Learn how to be
Learn
unhappy.
how to be unhappy.
And I can't
Now,
agree with
that I can't
that.
get with.
You know, I never want to sacrifice my happiness for the relationship.
Exactly.
Because even if you've done something that has hurt me to a degree, right? If the foundation of our relationship is happy, well, then it's going to make me really think hard and consider whether or not this is something worth working on. But if the foundation is unhappy, I'm not going to sit here and try to teach myself how to function in an unhappy foundation.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for the sake of happiness down the road. And I didn't agree with, she say happiness is not the goal.
Well, what is the goal when you're married?
She says building a sustainable relationship. I feel like a sustainable relationship should be a happy one.
What is that, just a business relationship?
Well, maybe she has that mindset.
So,
I don't know. I'm asking you. You heard the same audio I heard.
I'm thinking it had to be just a business relationship or a business marriage, to me.
And I think it's interesting because we haven't touched on why she started the video too. She started the video by saying that she was approached by another man.
Right.
So we can't leave that piece out, right? And even though in that moment, and so I think that was actually some good advice. In that moment, yeah, just because I'm unhappy don't mean you got a shot to step in and remove me from my situation.
True.
Or even just do whatever it is your motives are just because I'm unhappy. Like I have no respect for men who chase married women anyway.
And I have no
Because-
respect for women who chase married men.
Well, you know, it's too many single individuals out there. You know, now people are people. You know, I'm not trying to excuse nobody's behavior. People are gonna do what they're gonna do.
But it's up to that person to feed into it or walk away.
Yeah, well, that person exactly.
Yeah.
It's up to that individual, and that if that individual does it, it's not because they're unhappy in their
That's 'cause
relationship.
that's the choice that they want to make.
Exactly. Now they could use their unhappiness as an excuse, but in my opinion, that's all it
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
an
it's an
excuse because
excuse.
people do exactly what they want to do.
Exactly.
People do what they prioritize doing. People make the decisions that make them satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line, I don't care what they tell you. The excuse was, oh, if you had not been doing this, I would never. No, that's a lie. That's you know, you did it because that's what you wanted to do. You allow
almost
yourself
cussed.
to rationalize your behavior
Mm-hmm.
based on your disappointment in your mate, as opposed to saying, you know what, I don't think this is like we're not working right now. So let me step
Yeah.
away. It's because you know I heard an individual make that point, and I thought that was a great point, right? Like people be in relationships that they really don't want to be in. They want to do all this extra stuff, but instead of being honest with the person, you want to use them and you want to make them feel insufficient. You want to make
Right,
them feel
right.
like it's something that they're doing that's not living up to the relationship or that's not
And even though they
satisfactory
they
for the
trying
relationship.
their hardest to make it
Exactly. You'd rather tear that
still-
person
yeah.
down than be honest with them and let them
Exactly.
know, hey, you know what, you know, I think you're a great individual, but you know, I really just want to explore my options.
work. Yeah.
But
Be
now we
honest
don't want
about
to do
it.
that.
Be honest
We
about
want to
it.
keep this right here in case what I'm exploring don't work out.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
I got this over
In case
here.
the grass ain't green on the other side.
Grass always look greener from across the street. Always. Matter of fact, I have somebody very near and dear to me right now that just switch horses in the middle of the race. I'm gonna see. We're gonna see how that turn out for you. You know, I wish you nothing but the best.
Yeah.
Right? But you know, grass always look greener from across the street. Remember
It
that.
always look green.
Grass
But that
look
don't mean
greener
it
from across the
is.
street. Till you get up on it,
That
get,
don't
get
mean it is.
you know, step in and see it up close. You know, you don't really know a person till
And
you
you're
spend
stepping
some
into
significant-
something in that grass.
you know, till you spend some significant time with them. You don't really know a person.
Yeah.
So I'd encourage and advise anybody to spend some time with a person that you're really considering spending your life with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get to know that person, get to know the individual.
You know that
You know,
if they had your back or not.
and I've been with you long enough to know that after 20 plus years, I'm still learning more about you every day.
That's vice versa, brother.
You know, so you never really
you-
know a person.
Exactly. And I heard somebody say they've been married, I don't know, 30 something years. And they still, learning each other. So
That's how this thing works.
yeah. We all change during our marriages.
Okay, man. I've enjoyed talking with you today about this topic. Rather interesting. I don't know. Maybe I feel like we may have left some doors open to be just because some to be just. I don't know. I just feel like this topic, to me. I'm gonna say what you're gonna say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, when we upload it, I would love for people to comment. Leave
Okay.
their comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just don't make sense to me because I would never allow myself to be unhappy in anything.
Me either.
So I mean, that's just where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
You want to
You want to
leave them with
if you want to give somebody advice, give them some good advice. If they unhappy in their marriage, to at least talk to, well, not at least, but talk to their partner, their husband, their spouse, or whatever. Talk to them, to get back on the right path. Because there's some, if you're unhappy, some got to give. Some has to give.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll say this, and I'll maintain this forever. If you're truly happy with you, you will never allow yourself to be made unhappy by someone else. I repeat that. If you're happy with you, you will never allow yourself to be made unhappy by someone else. You may be disappointed at times. Okay? I may be disappointed at times by something that you do in our marriage, in our relationship. But if our marriage makes me genuinely unhappy, I just no. And when I say unhappy, I mean inside of me. And so I'm not going to allow a marriage to make me unhappy. If a marriage is such that it's making me unhappy, that's unhealthy. I'm all about happiness, health, wealth, all that good stuff. When you're unhappy, you're depressed, everything's all over the place. No, don't be in any situation. And if you want to measure, I guess, weigh your pros and cons. How often are you happy, and how often are you unhappy? If you're unhappy, if you're happy more than you unhappy, you probably have something worth working on.
Yeah.
But if you're unhappy more than you happy, that's not a good. Yeah, no, I wouldn't advise to stay.
But at least
in that.
have that conversation first. Have that
No,
conversation.
I'm gonna have that conversation with myself. I'm gonna evaluate.
Evaluate yourself. Have a conversation with yourself. But also, if your marriage is worth having or worth moving forward, at least talk to them and let them know why you unhappy. Don't just go around and say, "Oh, I'm unhappily married." At least tell them. Talk to them. Tell you why you unhappy.
All right. Hey, man, that's our time, man. It's the Empty Nesters. It's your man, Steve.
And your girl, Nika.
We love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, man. Catch us next week, same bad time, same bad channel, south side of H-Town. Texas 101 Jam Studio live. It's the Empty Nesters, man. Y'all have a blessed one.